and then they would shoot in the air, 4 damage each, 2 shots. But then it was changed into 1 shot at 9 damage. So it's much stronger versus armor than it used to be. And that change happened a long time ago, like the beginning of the mothership core existing was going on. So I looked at it, I was like, oh, cool, maybe this is an interesting... Oh, wait, I forgot that they made that change, and it's, like, sort of irrelevant at this point.
Think about it for 1 second. I'm just trying to think of what +1 attack for the Mama Core might do, because we've seen harassments in, like, PVZ on not maps in this map pool. What was the map? I can't remember what it was. Mothership Core harassment, either with overcharging pylons early on Legacy of the Void Beta, or maybe you could go for workers. Like, how much attack does it actually give?
Not as much as attack as 4 more adepts, which is the amount of gas you're spending.
Oh, that's a good point.
Come
on, I'm trying to salvage a situation. Like, well, maybe we learned something.
I gotta distribute some truth. I'm gonna leave it to you.
Oh, I am the deceit. I am nothing like that. But guys, here we are in Orbital Shipyard. This is the map where we saw a lot of pylons against Terran, and man, it was terrible in Legacy of the Void Beta. But in the top right-hand corner, currently down 1-2, the blue Protoss from Kazakhstan, and representing Storm Gaming. It is PiLiPiLi. Oh, we zoomed in the bottom left one. I was looking at Kaboosh. Okay, that's PiLiPiLi. And his opponent in the bottom left-hand corner, the guy who you already got the zoom in on, so we're not going to zoom in on him twice. He doesn't deserve that. No zoom, but it is the red Zerg player from Acer. It's Acer's Blind. Oh yeah, we got that. We got this tilt. We got that swivel right there. Orbital Shipyard, as I was saying, with pylons, not so much in PvZ, but every once in a while we do see kind of some awkward things. This map much more figured out. Of course, it was from the earliest Legacy of the Void Beta. Orbital Shipyard was there. Not quite, I don't know, in the very beginning, but it's been here for quite a long time. PiLiPiLi going 1 gate right off the bat. Won't be throwing 2 gates down, but his scout is going out, and we have seen some awkward situations where he has fallen back and thrown down a second quick gate when he thinks his opponent's doing the same thing, but is Bly changing it up? Or is he doing the same thing?
No, Bly is not changing it up at all.
So maybe this is a good scout.
This is the same. Gate. Yeah. PiLiPiLi, however, is going for double gas before second gate, which is a little bit different than he's been doing the past couple of games. So we'll have to see how this develops.
He's got 2 gates down anyways. Cyber.
The double adept shenanigans may occur. Gonna throw down that cyber core.
So the biggest issue for the defense, if we do see these successfully adepts get to the other base, is the lack of metabolic boost for Bly. It's hard to do that, and maybe he's going to compensate with some extra queens. We'll see how aggressive PiLiPiLi gets, though, and it's kind of funny, just the aggressiveness of the lings that Bly gets actually just nullifies, not even nullifies, but it keeps the lings, my bad, the adepts back enough for a long enough time to get the queens out. And we'll see, though, only 4, no, yep, there's the 6 lings this time, not quite 8. Not going to go for the full 8 count, which he did go before, right?
Yeah, he's been going 8 whenever he wants to be aggressive, for the most part. 6 is interesting. We'll have to see. We have this is the double adept expansion PiLiPiLi build, for the most part. I guess he was just using those to scout, and he's setting them back. He got the scouting intel with the Overlord that it was double chrono boosted gateways, based on what you've seen before, and probably because this is generally pretty popular. You're going to assume that those are 2 adepts and that your 6 lings are not enough, and you want them for defense at this point in time. Queen moving up into position to help deal with any adepts that try to come in the front.
PiLiPiLi liking the Proxy Stargate. He's got an idea of what he wants to do, and we've seen him do some really cool things with oracles a lot before. See the adepts moving into that 3rd base position. Lings already, no speed at all though, so they're slow lings, and now this 1 queen, but the lings go over to the top base, completely bypassing that queen, and are going to be able to kill off these lings. We see 12 lings in production, but that's still going to be about 15-ish seconds away. These adepts have a window of opportunity.
He dropped that robo directly in front of the Overlord. He was like, "This is my tech, I swear to God." Meanwhile, sneaky tech abound. Nice job with the adepts, though. He's managed to get quite a few kills. Nothing spectacular, but nice little edge, and generally speaking, worth the investment. He doesn't tend to run these adepts away. Yeah,
You forced out 12 lings instead of drones at the third, which might be counterintuitive now because actually pulled all the queens for the third too. The Oracle can just go into the natural or in the main actually and just decimate.
Yeah,
It's
the
funny.
natural's still sort of
Natural
protected
and third
here.
are shut down.
Yeah. We'll see. This Overlord is getting around. This is the tricky thing about the beginning of the game. He dropped that Robo right in the face of the Overlord, but Bly is really going to have to be on top of clicking these guys or seeing how much gas has been mined and deducing that there is missing tech somewhere about. But it's not going to be one of those automatic, very easily, oh yeah, he's totally hiding tech right now kind of moments. And waiting for 2 Oracles is PiLiPiLi, so really hoping to trick him and catch him with his pants down, as it were.
No spores down yet. There is a surplus of queens in that third, though. They are ready to defend other things, but big amounts of drones coming out. And Sam on the side, top right, PiLiPiLi, big amounts of gateways. Oracles are going to move in, and it may be kind of, I don't know if I want to say counterintuitive or deceiving when these Oracles come and say, oh, he's not going to go for a big 2-base play, but PiLiPiLi is going to go that huge 2-base play, I think. We'll see. Oracles.
This queen. No, he's just going for drones here. Interesting decision. A little bit of indecision.
Well, you one-shot him
micro
almost.
here is hurting. You one-shot them literally. And
there's been a couple
times
times
deal a lot of damage here. And going to be able to pull out 15 workers. Getting both Oracles out. Could have got a little bit more. A little bit of missed micro with either attack, move, or hold position. Made the attacks on the queens instead of the drones. It is very difficult micro to execute. Very fast, very, agile unit, the Oracle. So it makes it a little bit difficult. And is this just going to be... You got a Void Ray coming. This might just be a follow-up all-in.
PiLiPiLi never likes that Stargate not to be making things. He fully utilizes it, gets a Void Ray off the bat, because why not? And unlike the game on Dusk Towers, we do see a Warp Prism this time. And also, just to mention, Oracles still have the capabilities of Stasis Wards. I'd love to see a Stasis Ward lure units into it, but there's a lot of creep here.
Wild, huh?
Probably. I've seen it a couple times, and it works out really darn well, but there's spores at this ramp.
Spore Crawlers. Nicely done. Gonna go ahead and tag all that. Excellent. Going to be attacking here, trying to poke in. These Spore Crawlers are going to help a lot with the Stargate tech, especially because he made this Void Ray to try and help with the attack. It's really going to help shut it down a bit. Ravagers as well. Ooh, some units getting caught out of position here, trying for a flank. Ooh, a little bit of move position micro there, or rather move commanding into the army. PiLiPiLi takes a bunch of extra damage that was not necessary to take. These Oracles, these air units are all not being microed right now and get taken out almost completely by the Spore Crawler, but the forces on the ground still incredibly strong here. PiLiPiLi optimizing or focusing on controlling those and making the best of those. Moving in here, going to be able to take out most of the units quite quickly. 7 roaches on the way, but can Bly hold?
We will have to see. Sentry's still very powerful. I'd love to see a force field on that ramp, but the Immortals are doing all the work they need to do, and there's just so much right here. It's not a death ball, but it technically is kind of a death ball right here, slaughtering whatever comes in its way. And this third base may completely go down while more Stalkers are actually on the left-hand side reinforcing. They will be pushed out, but Bly's Roaches are not going for any other units right here. This is actually buying time for PiLiPiLi to kill even more in that third base position. I don't think that was wise for Bly, but, maybe he was. He got the Warp Prism.
Yep, the Warp Prism is still alive, and it's got 3 Stalkers in it. It is moving in.
Force field! Oh!
I actually misplaced that force field a little bit, but it's enough so that you don't want to move in one by one to that kind of a position in any case. So he's going to come up here, get a bunch of free damage. Miss rallies all over the place for Bly, and waiting for that moment, that correct moment where the corrosive bile is coming down right after it hits. You throw that force field back up again. A little bit of a back and forth micro interaction going on there. And just so much free damage happening from PiLiPiLi here. And in the background, he's making Void Rays and he's making Immortals.
Not only was the attack timed out really well, but after the Oracles hit, it was actually 44 drones to 44 probes, and now there's even less workers, so the income was just not quite there for Bly, but we'll still see drones are being pulled. There's a couple Ravagers, but that's it. I mean, the drone's getting a full flank, but these Ravagers, they're so low on health, the Adepts will be able to kill them. The Mortals going down one by one. The Warp Prism, though, is still alive. JaKaTaK still alive in that natural base, and there's the GG. 2-2. Wow, this is much closer than I was expecting. I was expecting it one way or the other. Bly to be like, cool, or PiLiPiLi to be like, I like charge lots. Charge lots cool.
Yeah,
Pretty much what he did.
potentially. Yeah, but it's really cool to see these players match so well. PiLiPiLi has been up-and-coming player for a long time now, working out hard, grinding out the games in the North American ladder, or the American ladder, as it were, now. So it's always good to see him doing well. I'm a big fan of him as a human. And Bly, of course, a titan of the industry for years at this point in time. He's
a bit of a human
household name, in the world of StarCraft. You've been following StarCraft, you know who Bly is at this point in time.
It was a great moment a couple months ago in my house where I mentioned something about, oh hey, JaDongs, I can cast JaDong, and my dad was like, oh cool, JaDong. I was like, wait, you know what I'm talking about? It's like, yeah, I've heard JaDong's name before when I've seen you cast. So I'm like, it's a household name, JaDong, man. JaDong's in there. Definitely, Bly's been in the scene for a long time. He's been making his way, and he's always been there, and he's always kept going. It hasn't been like some of the players who are like, yeah, I'm really good at this game. I've kind of gotten about it, and I'm going to move on, maybe come back some. He's always been there for it. He's been like, cool, let's keep going. Let's keep doing this. This is awesome. Let's keep going. And has always been participating. PiLiPiLi, more of a recent phenomenon, but still playing so dang well. It's 2-2. This is a best of 7, so they have to win 4 to make that $100.
Yeah, man, we're getting really close to the game 7, my favorite game of all games in a best of 7.
The best of 3, best of 5, the game 7.
The game
4
7
ties
of the best of 5 is actually my favorite. It's very rare.
Have you ever had a tie in an actual game? Have you had a tie?
Yeah.
I have never, ever had a tie.
Oh, you gotta do it. It's the best.
Ever.
It takes like 2 hours.
I've never had a tie, and I always see these other people on their profiles with like 3 ties. Like, what the crap were you doing?
Wow.
Just all in, please. I saw a guy yesterday who had 3 ties in his ladder league, and I was like, whoa, man, how long do you play? It's like 5. And for Legacy of the Void, maybe it's only like an hour a game.
Styles, and I always go for base races every time.
Maybe that's how you got to do it. Game 5. It's gonna be Lerlac Crest. We're close to that game 7. Bly and PiLiPiLi are looking strong, and honestly, none of them